A fascinating collection of Civil War photographs, originally part of a larger set of 35 to 36 images, has been brought to light. The guest inherited this Civil War photograph album from his eccentric cousin, who speculated they might be by Matthew Brady. These photographs were taken by Andrew J. Russell, the official photographer for the Union Army's Military Railroad. Printed on albumen paper, these photographs reflect the era, utilizing egg whites to adhere to the light-sensitive material. This collection includes significant scenes from the Civil War, such as City Point, a crucial supply hub on the East Coast, a Union gunboat deck, a camp scene from Virginia, and the Virginia Theater with pine trees. The thickness of the albumen paper indicates that the photographs were printed after the Civil War, likely in the 1880s.
That these photographs were probably made sometime after the Civil War, because the Civil War albumen paper was very, very thin.
Such a pristine condition and remarkable tonality increased the collection's auction value to,
I would think that $15,000 would be a decent price for the group.
Wow.
The guest brought in a cherished watercolor depicting a figure fishing in a swamp. She inherited it from their mother, who believed it to be the figure of a da, a term used in Charleston for black nurses who cared for children. The painting is by Alice Revenell Hugie Smith, a South Carolina artist who rose to prominence despite having no formal training. She primarily focused on landscapes, and her works are known for their evocative and almost mysterious atmosphere. Smith began her artistic journey by creating practical items like dance programs and place cards, but eventually transitioned to painting scenes of street vendors and ancestral portraits. The inclusion of a figure in this particular landscape is quite uncommon in Smith's oeuvre, making the piece even more special and valuable. Considering the artist's reputation, style, and the unusual presence of a figure, the estimate of the painting's retail gallery value is...
I think if this were in a retail gallery, the asking price might be $85,000.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
The guest presents a fascinating heirloom, a hand-carved walking stick, passed down through generations. Family lore suggests it was commissioned for a mere 25 cents by a traveling laborer. This ornately carved piece is believed to be a commemoration of the Battle of Gettysburg, created by a Union veteran. The carvings include various symbolic elements, a cannon representing artillery, Abraham Lincoln's name, and a clover leaf, potentially signifying the veteran's unit. Interestingly, the cane also features the names of prominent figures on both sides of the conflict, including Generals Meade and Lee, as well as General Pickett. This cane is considered to be the finest Civil War commemorative piece ever encountered. Given its historical significance, intricate carvings, and excellent condition, the value is estimated to be...
The value on this is $3,000 to $5,000.
Wow, that'll make my son very happy.
The guest got a lucky deal on this beautiful piece of art. She inherited a Quoizel vase, originally acquired by her mother-in-law from Mrs. Hall, the widow of the first superintendent at Howe's Caverns. The story goes that Mrs. Hall offered her housekeeper the opportunity to take a few items after the antique dealers had picked through her belongings. The guest's mother-in-law wisely chose this stunning iridescent glass vase with green feathering, a signature Quoizel design. Years later, the guest inherited the vase and, concerned about a curious cat, inquired about acquiring it. A simple trade was struck, a new blanket from the Montgomery Ward catalog in exchange for the vase. The vase is a Quoizel piece from around 1920 with an eye-catching and beautiful feathering and iridescent effects. The vase is estimated to have a value of...
I would estimate to be worth about $1,500.
However, in a recent auction, the vase was estimated to be worth $3,000.
Oh!
Well, that was a nice surprise,
Splendid,
right?
Splendid.
Yes.
Not bad for just a blanket.
For a blanket, I think you did very well.
The guest unveils a painting with a fascinating backstory. She shares how her husband, then a teenager on a trip to France with his family in 1937, purchased the piece for a mere $30. The piece was done by the artist Émile Othon Frieze, a prominent figure in the Fauve movement. Fauvism was an artistic movement known for its vibrant colors and bold brushstrokes, often shocking audiences with its unconventional style. Fries was a contemporary of famous artists like Matisse and Derain, although considered part of a secondary group within the movement. His most sought-after works date from the earlier Fauve period. The painting presented here is believed to be a later work, possibly created around the time it was purchased in 1937. While not an example of Fries's peak Fauve style, it reflects his shift towards a more traditional approach, drawing inspiration from old masters. Despite being a later work, it is a beautiful representation of Fries's mature style. Considering the artist's reputation, the painting's originality, and its good condition, the estimated auction value is to be
somewhere in the $8,000 to $12,000 range.
Oh, how wonderful.
The guests brought in a remarkable Rockwell Kent painting titled The Land of Peace that was exhibited at the Carnegie Institute in 1946. The painting depicts a Greenlandic landscape with figures and is accompanied by a fascinating letter written by the artist himself to the guest's grandmother. Rockwell Kent was known for his exploration of harsh environments, and this Greenlandic scene is a prime example. The letter provides valuable context about the artwork, revealing not only the location's latitude and longitude, but also the artist's political views. Kent, a communist and pacifist, intended the painting as a commentary against war and the destruction caused by the superior white race. The presence of the figures, unusual for Kent's work, underscores this message. The painting itself is in excellent condition and is considered a top-shelf example of Rockwell Kent's work. However, the accompanying letter significantly increases its value. The auction estimate of this piece without the letter is...
As such, at auction, if it didn't have the letter, I'd probably say about $100,000 to $150,000.
And with the letter, a staggering...
With the letter, I put about $150,000 to $250,000 as an estimate.
Oh my! Wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful. Thank you.
The guests brought in a cherished family portrait painted by Robert Henry, a renowned artist and founder of the Ashcan School. The portrait depicts the guest's grandmother, a Bostonian who resided in a grand house called the Gleddings in Yorkshire, England. She fondly remembers the painting from their childhood. There are several unique aspects about the portrait. Henry's training under prominent artists like William Merritt Chase is evident in the style, particularly the use of ruddy complexion and a dry brushstroke technique. However, the portrait also incorporates elements of the Ashcan School, known for its realistic portrayal of everyday life. The inclusion of a 3-stone ruby ring and the feather fan add decorative elements and potentially hint at the season the portrait was painted in, being August. Considering the artist's stature, the painting's historical significance as an early Ashcan School work, and its excellent condition, the appraised value for insurance purposes is...
somewhere in the area of $250,000 to $300,000.
Oh, no.
Because
no.
it is a...
Oh, my God.
The guests brought a Regency wine cooler made of mahogany and some books about furniture. The wine cooler is from the Regency period, which is from 1810 to 1820, while the books were written before that period and didn't include information about Regency furniture. Now, the books, although written by a famous expert at the time, Percy McCoy, contain many mistakes. This is because furniture knowledge and dating techniques have improved significantly since the books were written. For example, one of the chairs in the books that was believed to be Flemish from 1500 is now known to be a fake made in 1850 to 1880. Experts back then simply didn't have the knowledge or scientific tools we have today to accurately date and identify furniture. Another example is this cabinet in the book that is clearly not from the period it is attributed to. In this case, the cabinet has features that wouldn't have been used during that time period, such as cabriole legs. Despite the inaccuracy of the books, the Regency wine cooler is a valuable piece of furniture and has an auction value estimate of...
expect an auction value of £2,000 to £3,000.
The book collection, however, would be worth...
probably between £400 and £500 in a shop.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Now we know.
Yes, now we know.
The guest presented an abstract lithograph on the show, which she received from her sister, an avid collector of modern art. The piece bears the maker's signature, Roy Lichtenstein. Lichtenstein was an American pop artist. Dating back to 1975, the item boasts a combination of techniques and is known as the bicentennial print, created to celebrate America's bicentennial in 1976. Furthermore, the print features several interesting images, such as red, white, and blue colors near the lower right corner, and a wheel, suggesting the cornice of a building.
This is a mid-career work by Lichtenstein when his style was becoming looser and more abstract.
Though we can discern some slight fading on the piece, its colors hold up remarkably well for a contemporary print.
On a scale of 10 being the best colors, this print is in about a 7.5 to 8.
So it needs to stay out of the sun.
It definitely needs to stay out of the sun. The signature is very strong, if somewhat illegible.
This modern piece of art exemplifies great artistry, and with its provenance, it is estimated to be worth
would be in the neighborhood of about $15,000 to $20,000.
Amazing.
So
The guest brought in a watch that belonged to the founder of the college. It is believed that it is one of the most important surviving possessions of the founder. The watch is a Dublin-made lever escapement watch with a harp symbol indicating Irish origin. The hallmarks on the watch suggest it was made in Chester, England in 1814. It also has a signature inside, which is of McMaster of Dublin. The watch is a curiosity because the lever escapement was invented in Liverpool, and Chester was the appropriate marking office. This suggests the watch was made by a Dublin watchmaker who may have been a traveling salesman. While the watch isn't something the founder likely acquired new, it is believed that he might have received it as a form of bad debt. The founder was known for being strict about people paying their bills. Despite the unknown history, the watch itself is valuable due to its age, the unusual escapement mechanism, and the gold case. It is estimated to be worth...
One would say that it was probably worth something around about £700 or £800.
This guest invested heavily in this antique jewelry set.
These are some antique jade pieces that were acquired in about the last 12 years. They were bought from auctions, investing with a family member.
Buying the jade pieces at an auction for a total of $11,000. Consisting of a necklace, earrings, and a ring made of uniquely consistent jade, the set is quite remarkable. The necklace, made of carved jade balls and jade rings interconnected by gold wirework links, probably dates from around the 1930s and 40s, showing little variegation. Featuring jadeite cabochons and diamonds, the earrings are elegant. Similarly, the jade ring consists of cabochon jade with diamonds set in a yellow gold. With an uneven jade stone, typical of old mine jade material, the ring is particularly unique.
They were cutting the stone not for a specific shape, but they were cutting it for the color that was existing in the piece. So we know that the jade is actually much older than this mounting is.
Showcasing great craftsmanship, the necklace is a consistent piece of jade, and its value in the market is estimated at...
You'd be looking at somewhere around $7,000.
Oh, okay.
The earrings, with one jade slightly darker than the other, at auction would be worth...
around $8,000 or $9,000.
Wow.
In addition to its masterfully crafted features, the uneven cabochon on the jade ring makes it a rare and early stone, contributing to its estimated market price of
$15,000 to $20,000.
Wow.
So this is the best piece you've got. It also is the prettiest, and it's a really beautiful piece of jade.
Thank you.
The guest brought a lampshade she found in her father's garage in 1985 after he passed away. The lampshade was identified as a Tiffany Studios piece, signed by the artist. Tiffany Studios, separate from Tiffany & Company, produced the lamp in Corona, Queens until 1933. The appraiser verified the lampshade's authenticity by examining the glass, construction, pattern, finish, and leading. The lamp was tapped to hear a faint rattle, indicating the bond between the copper foiling and leading had loosened. This suggested the lamp was original and not a reproduction. The lamp likely originally rested on a base with arms designed for a fuel lamp, and it was dated to before 1906. The appraiser's expertise and careful examination revealed the lampshade's significant value and history, and was estimated at
this could sell for between $25,000 and $30,000.
You're kidding.
Not at all. I'm not kidding.
The guest brought a vase that had been inherited down her family for generations, but she knew little about its origins. It had a striking decoration and large size with a green mark on the bottom. The mark featured a painter's palette, artist's brush, and daubs of paint, along with the monogram CAC and the word Belleek. While Belleek often referred to Irish ceramics, this vase was actually made by Lenox in the United States. The ceramic art company was an early name for Lenox, which was established in 1889. The mark on the vase dated it between 1894 and 1906, making it a rare and early piece. The vase features a bold, bright, painted pattern that was popular at the time. It was suspected that the vase was factory painted, but it may have been painted outside the factory. The appraiser estimated this early Lenox vase at...
This vase would probably be worth between $800 and $1,200, which is quite a lot of money for this sort of thing.
The guest brought a Japanese tin wind-up toy with a box. This toy was originally a Christmas gift of his aunt and uncle left in the attic. The guest's uncle gave the toy to the guest's son, who liked it very much. It was a pre-war Japanese toy made by Kuramochi Company in Japan before World War II. The toy's lithography and automotive motif was amazing, which added to its value for collectors. The decorated box was also highly valuable, potentially doubling or tripling the toy's price. The toy had a charming action feature, an amusement park ride, which further added to its value. The toy was originally sold for around 89 cents, but now due to its rarity and excellent condition, along with the original box, it was appraised at...
At auction, this toy could probably bring as much as $2,000, maybe a little more. It's an absolutely wonderful find you have here.
The guest brought a painting willed to her parents by their neighbor with an interesting backstory about how they became friends. The guest's father grew roses and had one meant to enter a show, but it was picked by an old lady. The father approached the lady, and instead of scolding her, he offered to give her flowers whenever she asked, that were not meant to be put in a show, so they both became friends. The guest and their family tried to learn more about the painting and discovered it was by Joseph Henry Sharp, an artist from Ohio. Sharp had a difficult time in school due to hearing loss from a near-drowning accident, but he developed a passion for art and the Southwest. The painting was an oil-on-canvas from around 1920, featuring hollyhocks and a mountain. The painting was in a period frame and has significant value due to Sharp's reputation as an artist. This stunning piece of art, with its vibrant hues and delicate details, was estimated at...
If you were to put this at auction today, you could expect it to bring $25,000 to $35,000. For insurance purposes, I'd cover it at $50,000.
Okay.
The guest brought in a brooch that was commissioned by his grandfather for his grandmother, possibly to commemorate the birth of his father. The brooch was made by E. Jacquard, a respected jeweler in St. Louis, Missouri, in 1900. The guest also brought in the original sketch and bill of sale for the piece. The appraiser was impressed by the brooch's unique features, including multiple colored diamonds and a triangular diamond, which was rare for the time period. The guest shared a family story that the diamonds were smuggled out of France during the French Revolution and were obtained by the jeweler. The Jacquard family was of Huguenot descent, which may lend credibility to the family story. The value of this exotic family heirloom with rich history was estimated at...
Well, in today's market, if this item were to come up for sale at auction, I would put a value on this at $25,000 to $35,000.
Oh, wow.
It's a substantial price, plus I would say somewhere around $40,000 to $45,000 as an insurance value.
Yeah. Well, it's always been the sort of the good luck talisman of our family, so it's not going anywhere.
Metal is not just a material. It can be a canvas for artistry and history. The appraiser examined an exquisite pistol brought in by a guest. The guest explained that he had inherited the pistol from his stepfather, who had received it as a gift from a business partner, but later lost interest in it. The guest took an interest in the pistol around the age of 17 or 18, during which he accidentally damaged it while dry firing, necessitating repairs. The appraiser confirmed the authenticity and exceptional quality of the piece. He identified it as an Italian presentation pistol from Turin, likely dating back to the 1770s or 1780s. He praised its high quality, pointing out the gold at the muzzle, the detailed gold work, and the Turin proof marks. The appraiser also noted the superb silver inlay work and a striking lion mask adorned with gilt. While examining the condition of the pistol, the appraiser said,
"If this came onto the auction market, £15,000 to £20,000.
This guest brought along the artwork of his father.
This painting was done by Demetrius Jameson, who was my father. Dad did this in, I believe, around 1947 when he was a student at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri.
An American painter known for his figurative expressionist paintings. Demetrios George Jameson is the artist behind this captivating piece. Jameson studied at Washington University in St. Louis, and his work, imbued with elements of German Expressionism, was inspired by Max Beckmann. This piece is an early example of Jameson's work. It exemplifies American surrealist painting with keen attention to detail.
We have this crumpled up piece of mysterious paper. We have this enigmatic figure with red hair and an acidic green skirt.
The painting is signed by the artist, dated 1947, entitled Parasol. This oil painting on canvas is an exceptional example of surrealism, and in today's market, it is valued at...
I would insure this one at $15,000.
Oh, wow. Oh, very...
The guest brought an enameled gold cross that she inherited from her grandfather, passed down to her by her father. The cross was supposed to be a very spiritual object. It featured the crown of thorns, the pliers and the hammer used to torture Jesus, and the column of flagellation made from enameled gold. All the emblems were significant because they had relics inside little frames. On the first window, the relic was captioned Christ or Christus, and the others featured the names of the Christian saints. The cross was more of an object of veneration instead of worshiping. The cross dated back between the late 16th to the earlier 17th century and might have been Spanish due to its devotional qualities. This one-of-its-own-kind devotional family heirloom was appraised at...
I think this object is worth £8,000 to £10,000 today.
Oh, gosh.
As a graduate student at the University of Michigan, this guest was fortunate to get an autographed poster.
He signed my poster, Andy Warhol, 1975.
From the American visual artist, film director, and producer, Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was a leading figure in the pop art movement and is considered one of the most important American artists of the second half of the 20th century. The art school at the University of Michigan had invited Warhol to give a presentation, and when he set up shop, he gave free autographs to students, of which this guest was fortunate to be one.
A friend of mine and I said, let's go in the Center bookstore and buy a couple of posters for him to sign. She got the Marilyn Monroe, and I wound up with the Brillo pad. I would have preferred to have Marilyn.
The poster was made in 1970 for a museum exhibition in Pasadena, California. Presented in perfect condition, this autographed poster will be an auction special, priced at...
Will be worth between $3,000 and $4,000.
Oh.
Sights are set upon these collectors' favorites. These are travel posters amassed by this guest's grandfather.
And we found this in my grandmother's house after she died, and I recognized the Pullman name as being the train.
A former professor of arts at the Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. Travel posters of such caliber are highly sought after, evoking the early Art Deco style in their designs. This collection all dates back to 1934, the golden age of Art Deco. The first poster, featuring trout fishing, boasts exceptional quality and is estimated to fetch
$1,500 and $2,000.
Wow.
Following is a sailing piece, appreciated for its modern Art Deco style, expected to sell for
about $1,500 to $2,000.
The rare and unique skiing poster, renowned for its detailed depiction, holds a value of...
And at auction, a ski poster of this quality would sell for between $4,000 and $6,000.
Oh my gosh, okay.
10 years ago in Northwest Washington, she found a hidden religious scene at an estate sale. She bought this art for $150. Henry Osawa Tanner, a prominent African-American artist, is best known for his religious and genre scenes. The label at the back identifies Pastoral Scene Palestine by Henry O. Tanner, number 491, owned by the Hampton Institute. A stamp present on the artwork, attributed to Jesse O. Tanner, affirms that the work was made by his father. The number 491 in the corner corresponds to the Grand Central label, likely consigned by Hampton. Tanner occasionally used gouache, a medium involving opaque watercolors. With an almost reverent touch, the appraiser valued the item.
I believe that it would sell in the neighborhood of $35,000.
$35,000.
Yes.
Wow. That is hard.
With a legacy passed down from her father, this guest unveils a collection of striking gold pendants, each with roots tracing back to Central America, echoing tales of ancient civilizations. These pendants stand as original testaments to craftsmanship and culture. Crafted with exquisite mastery, they are adorned with captivating imagery, evoking a sense of reverence for the wearer's status or significance within their society. Both pendants show signs of having had their initial support replaced and refurbished.
If you look very carefully here and here, it looks like that was where the old support was and it came off.
Despite their age, dating between 1000 and 1500 AD, these ancient pieces retain significant value, and the alterations, such as the replaced pendant support, puts their estimated value at...
This one is in the $8,000 to $10,000 range, and this one is in the $12,000 to $18,000. It's a good day, isn't it?
Yeah.
This book delves into Empress Josephine's gardens at Malmaison, her residence outside Paris. The French authorities awarded her great-grandfather this book in appreciation for resolving the hoof and mouth disease crisis. Owned by Josephine de Beauharnais, the first wife of Napoleon Bonaparte, who transformed it into a botanical paradise. The book features stunning flower plates by Redoute, portraying the Empress's garden's diverse varieties. At this point, they discovered a new flower variety named after Empress Josephine, called the Josephine Imperatrice. As evident, all are signed by Pierre Redoute. It may delve into the garden's cultural context, showcasing Josephine's passion and influence on French landscapes. Among the blossoms in the book, the appraiser valued the item.
In my opinion, this is a $75,000 book.
Yikes.
You like it?
I do.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
A totem of male fraternity and masonry, these pieces of glass were acquired at auction for £6,000 by this guest, an astute art collector who recognized their value.
It's 50 to 70 pounds, and I pretty much knew what I thought they were. Sadly, they'd been spotted by somebody else, so they did go up in value.
Crafted by English glassworker William Bealby, these Masonic glasses bear witness to his pioneering technique of firing enamels into glass, integrating them seamlessly. Bealby's innovative glass enameling method is evident in the intricate designs adorning these glasses, which date back to 1768, as clearly depicted in the enameling. Presented in excellent condition, these glasses have proven to be a wise investment for the guest, yielding a substantial return of
£16,000 the pair.
Wow.
Given to a patient by her doctor, this dainty photograph is brought in for appraisal. The name of the photographer is Dane Tasker, a physician and radiologist at the Wilshire Hospital in Los Angeles. He became interested in photography in the 1920s using X-rays and flowery themes. Tasker loved giving his paintings to his patients, nurses, and other physicians. He went from being an amateur artist to a professional after he met prominent art photographer Will Connell, who encouraged him to take his art more seriously. Today, a preliminary auction estimate for this item would be...
Today, a preliminary estimate would be $6,000 to $9,000.
Wow. That's great.
This guest brought in a sign that was found in her home in Urbana, Ohio, back in the 1970s. It is a very rare American trade sign made of one piece of wood with a beautiful deep dish surround molding. The letters on the sign are gilt, and all around the sign is a sparkling substance called smalt, a crushed glass. That is why the wood is impervious to harsh weather and has maintained its good condition. The bracket is made of iron dating to around 1830 to 1840. On the other side of the sign is the name Mrs. S. Dupler and the word doctress. A doctress is a female physician, and in the 19th century, this name applied to a physician with magical powers. A realistic insurance estimate would be,
we're going to put an insurance value on the sign of $2,500 to $3,500.
Okay.
A Kenora viewer made in the early 1920s was brought in for appraisal. The viewer is a new technology having a wooden plate, a lens hood in the shape of a stereoscope viewer, and two magnifying lenses inside the lens hood. It has several wheels, which are made of armatures for individual photography. The viewer operated using a flip book mechanism by placing a reel on the Kenora viewer and turning the crank. The photographs were put into motion and seen through the lens. The technology behind the Kenora viewer was developed by Auguste and Louis Lumière, the two Frenchmen who started cinematography in 1895. But marketing started in 1902 after the technology was licensed in 1898 by a British company called the British Beautyscope of Biograph Company. Though better Kenora viewers exist, this is a basic viewer of over 100 years old, hence it's estimated to be worth
value is it's £1,000, £1,500, it's a lot of money, but at the same time, for me, it talks about technology and how things develop so rapidly. This was 100 or so years ago. You know, here we are in Media City, UK today. What's the next 100 years going to bring?
Exactly, yes.
The crowd's attention is fixed on a Picasso drawing purchased from a house clearance sale in a box with other items. Although not yet confirmed as a real Picasso, this drawing has the Picasso look as the picture depicts a male and female ballerina. Part of the items in the box was a photograph of the maker taken in 1925, giving proof to this drawing, and a book from 1956 with Pablo Picasso's name on it. So, all of Picasso's work in the 19th century was in the box sold at the house clearance sale. Picasso used a type of drawing pattern from the Indians in this sketch. Therefore, this drawing is taken to the Picasso Institute to get a stamp of approval, which may be difficult, but if approved, would be worth around,
and it's looking good, it's worth £60,000 to £80,000.
This beautiful array of Corgi toy cars gives the crowd a nostalgic reminder of their childhood days. The manufacturer is the Corgi Company, whose main plant is located in Swansea, with a plant in Northampton, where the components of the cars are made. Also, the components were checked for assembling issues and fixed at the Northampton plant. These cars were all unique reference models with all their components and packages. Moreover, there is a selection with unusual finishes and colors because clients rejected them and went for other cars with brighter colors. All of these cars are rare one-off Corguide editions and reference models. To the amazement of everyone, the guest confessed he had over 200 of these toy car models in his home. However, for the toy cars brought on the show, they collectively would be worth,
I think there's probably around about £1,500 to £2,000 worth of cars on this table.
Yeah.
Today we took a trip to the Beauport Sleeper McCann House in Boston. This magnificent house used to be the holiday home of Henry Davis Sleeper. Sleeper was an American antiquarian, collector, and interior decorator, as can be seen in this house. The house boasts 40 rooms filled with authentic antique items dispersed throughout its various sections. One of the rooms features a romanticized version of a colonial kitchen.
So he saw nothing wrong with mixing it up a little bit. It's the sum total of what he put in here that creates this atmosphere. That was his talent.
Where we can also find a chair made by Sleeper. Furthermore, another room showcases a ship cabin theme adorned with numerous animated objects throughout its space. Among these items is a beautifully detailed folk art carving embellished with gilding.
You can see that while this is a so-called primitive carving, in some respects it's really quite sophisticated.
Dating back to the mid-19th century, this carving remains in good condition, accruing an auction value of,
I'd say probably at least $5,000.
Well, it's fantastic, as is this entire experience here at Beauport. Thanks so much.
Yes, indeed.
This charming table was handcrafted by the guest's grandfather during the Depression era. Family legend says a doctor even offered a Model T Ford in exchange for it, but Grandpa wisely declined. The appraiser admires the table's intricate marquetry and parquetry inlay work.
I would call this a console table or a card table. And this is called marquetry and parquetry inlay.
Grandpa likely used a compass and chisel to create these stunning wood designs. But wait, there's a surprise twist in the design. A band of seemingly random wood pieces. The different woods include maple, cherry, oak or chestnut, walnut, and even ebony. Another family story claims the ebony dot in the center came from a Civil War veteran's cane. Despite its age, the table's original finish seems to be in great shape. The appraiser estimates its value for insurance purposes at a cool...
Insurance value on this would probably be around $3,500.
I appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome.
This amazing toy was passed down through generations in the guest family. It features a playful surprise, a pop-up cat that even sticks its tongue out. Incredibly, the toy is in fantastic condition despite being over 100 years old. It is created by Ives, a famous 19th century toy maker.
And Ives made a little bit of everything in the 19th century. They're a huge manufacturer of fine toys.
This particular piece combines clockwork movement with a touch of whimsy. Amazingly, its movement is even close to high-end French automatons. Appraiser is impressed by the original key and the well-preserved cat figure. He even recalls seeing a similar one for...
And it brought over $8,000.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Vintage photo cards offer a captivating glimpse into the world of angling history. These items were inherited by our guest from her grandmother, and the photographs were taken by Camillus Fly. Fly was an Old West photographer regarded by some as an early photojournalist. Captured in one of these photographs is Geronimo. Geronimo was a Native American military leader and medicine man.
Geronimo was probably the most resilient and elusive of the Native American chieftains of his time.
However, this photograph is slightly faded. Regardless, it is estimated to be worth...
Even in this condition, it's still worth $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Also, we have this card that showcased the Funnel Canyon with Native American settlers. At auction, due to the historical significance of this piece, it would be valued at...
Probably worth in the neighborhood of $500 to $1,000.
Wow.
Lastly, we have the cabinet photo showing Fly's label and some information on the back. This item, in good condition, would fetch a value of...
And its value is $800 to $1,200 for this one alone. Because the condition's very good.
Thank you.
Purchased and preserved for over 15 years, this 12th century vase originates from the eastern parts of the world. The appraiser traces its production back to Damascus, the world's prime exporter of glass in that period. This glass vase bears an inscription of benediction in Arabic, translating to, "In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful." Additionally, it features a fish design, indicating it was used to hold or drink water. More than 1,000 years old, its current condition shows cracks on the body and some deposits of dirt, typical of glass that has been buried for a long time. However, the originality of this piece is questioned, as the appraiser insists its effects are not from time withering, but from acid.
So this is intaglio engraving, and my feeling is this has been done with acid. See, in the day, they didn't do it in acid in 14th or 12th century.
Until proven to be an authentic ancient Arabian vase, this piece is said to be worth only...
You know what my valuation is? 800 quid.
Fantastic, yeah.
Because it's what you paid for it.
Yeah.
A pivotal part of our lives that often goes unnoticed is the art of pottery. This guest not only presents us with pottery, but also its engraving art, which she inherited from her grandfather, who worked for the Wedgwood Company.
My grandfather was a copper plate engraver at Wedgwood's for many, many years, and he didn't retire until he was about 73, 74.
Wedgwood is an English fine china, porcelain, and luxury accessories manufacturer founded in 1759 by the potter and entrepreneur Josiah Wedgwood. This collection showcases the delicate art of engraving, featuring the copper plate onto which the art is engraved, drawings of the pottery art, and a plate depicting the masterpiece. A humble yet priceless collection to the guest, this collection has an estimated value of
£400–600 perhaps, but to you, priceless memories.
Yes.
And as I say, a celebration of what was made here.
This dramatic seagull sculpture was a present given to the guest by her sister, purchased at an auction in London during the 1930s.
I used to live in London. Many years ago, it was bought at Heels in Tottenham Court Road. My late sister, and then she gave it to me.
This piece is a very expressive example of Art Deco made during the golden age of the movement. It was designed by the iconic French artist Jacques Adnet and Jean Adnet. The brothers were icons of luxurious French modernism, and their vision is evident in this exquisite piece. Although there is some damage to the sculpture, the price at auction is estimated at...
Even taking that into consideration, you're going to have to go out with £300, maybe £350 to go and buy him again.
Oh.
On first glance, it looks like a wilting leaf, but upon close inspection, one would find that this is a piece of jewelry, a brooch. The guest inherited it from her grandmother after she passed away.
So she suggested to Granny that why don't she think about perhaps buying a piece of Grima jewellery. Granny bought this piece and wore it often, and then when she died, she left it to me.
This piece of jewelry was made and designed by the Anglo-Italian designer Andrew Grima, known as the doyen of modern jewelry design in Britain. This brooch showcases his ingenuity and brilliance.
And so he then developed this kind of free-spirited jewelry and design.
Made of 18-karat yellow gold with platinum down the center, set with brilliant cut diamonds. The back of the brooch bears the hallmark for his father-in-law's workshop, H.J. Coe. Dated to 1965, this stunning piece of jewelry, a true work of art, will have an estimated value of
£5,000 to £7,000.
Okay. Wow.
We are presented with a collection of glass artifacts. These are glass decanters whose values are a mystery.
We set us a challenge with 3 decanters, one of which is a basic model worth £250, is a better one worth £1,500, and then the best one is worth a jaw-dropping £10,000.
Decanters used to be a must-have for wine consumers in the past, as they removed the sediments from the wine, easily improving a 6-grade wine to a 4-grade. Now they are primarily valuable as collectibles and are not used as often. This collection dates back to the 18th century. The size, shape, and design of these glass decanters are exquisite, but upon closer inspection, one would discover that they are of different grades. What value will these widely used, now almost forgotten, pieces of glass art hold? We are presented with 3 Monkey Band porcelain figurines. The Monkey Band is a comic group of figures depicting monkey musicians and a larger, excited conductor, all dressed in fancy contemporary costumes. The first Monkey Band was made for the King of Saxony in the Holy Roman Empire, Augustus III, as a mockery of his prized orchestra, who were said to play like performing monkeys. These figurines were crafted by Meissen in 1753. Of the 3 conductor monkey figurines, one is a copy.
This one is too light. It isn't the quality of Meissen. This was made by a notorious faker in France called Samson.
While the remaining 2 are originals from the Meissen factory. Among the originals, the earliest one with a plain white base, a quality suitable for the king's banqueting table, is of the highest value, estimated at...
Today this is worth £10,000.
Goodness me, well...